Hello. Trying to see where I am. Good evening. Lori Thorne here, coming in to do a Friday night check-in. It's late. I should be going to bed, and I'm in here. So, um, hey Kevin, thank you. I was just like checking in to see. I'm like, am I anywhere? Am I actually live anywhere? I don't know if I'm on YouTube, so I'm just trying to check and see. So if I have anyone who isn't here on YouTube, because both links should be up, but I'm not seeing it. Hello, Karen and Wendy. Hello, and Yvette. Hi. So I'm just, while we're waiting for some people to come in, I'm just whoop, knocking over my own stuff here. Well, hello, Noreen. It's been so long since I have seen you. Sorry about all the crashing and banging around. I'm just trying to see if my YouTube, if we're on YouTube. So just let me just take a quick little check, because it's, oh yeah, I am. Never mind. Okay. So Friday night, late, have no life. No. I just finished at my desk writing up a whole bunch of my whole bunch of writings that I for upcoming classes that I have happening and things that I have going on. I've been sitting in this chair all day, writing for upcoming classes, for things that are coming up, for our summit, like so many things that are happening. And so I have a lot of organization that I'm trying to do in my own work here right now. So plus I have a project on to go over there. So good evening. Nice to see you too, Beth and Rhonda. Hi. Uh, right. I did. I got in before the Saturday. Yes, Beth, I did. Um, and so I just wanted to stop in and do a Friday night check-in. I'm my intentions is not to stay long. Just want to check in because I'm not going to get in any other time this weekend. I'm going on grandma duty tomorrow, so I'm not going to get any more time to get in. So I wanted to stop in tonight. Hi, Pat and Teresa. Hello. Um, my speech is a little bit wonky. My neurological is a little bit crazy tonight. So um, I hope you're all looking at the sky the last few nights. There's a lot of solar flare stuff that's happening. This is, of course, Halloween weekend, but it's also the time when the veil drops. And so, that veil between here and spirit world is like pretty much a non-existence. It means that we're so closely connected. It's not that we're ever not really connected to spirit or spirit world, because we're spirit and spirit walks among us and spirit is everywhere, and it's just how it is. But there just seems to be that sense of being able to just have that closer connection this time of the year. But we also are coming close to that time shift as well coming up. So anyway, there is some people in here, so I just want to start. I want to come in and do a reading for the weekend to get everybody through the weekend. Oh, the Northern Lights are supposed to be amazing too. See? And if you didn't so if you have not watched my my channel message for this week, so you remember last week, if you were in and you heard me talk about how I was recording my channel message when an earthquake hit here in the Sylvan Lake area a couple weeks ago. And then this week, when I was recording the energy forecast for the week on YouTube, is someone at our door, girls? When I was recording it, there was like this big solar flare thing that was happening the very next morning. So I could feel this energy again. And so there's this we have some real powerful energy that is outside, like it's within the core of Earth, or it is out in the universe. So it's like sun, moon, other planets. Like there's just a lot of activity right now. And so if you're feeling a little bit funky, a little bit off, a lot of it's that. But we also have a lot of us going, like a lot of people going through that spiritual kind of what we call like that awakening to a truth, or just coming into a new understanding of ourselves, or that place when we just can't freaking just accept the things we've accepted before. We're just kind of at that done point, and just feeling the need to just kind of break free from a lot of things that are happening or going on around us. So that's everywhere. I am teaching another coaching class coming up, and it is about it's called spiritual depression, but it's the symptoms of awakening, or the symptoms of just feeling like we're depleted, we're away from ourselves. And of course, the book More Than Existing is that journey from really recognizing that I was as far away from my truth and of who I was and what I was, that I was just like blah, just depleted and done. And so that we have all that energy happening right now. But I did want to, I'm like, oh, I got to use my old deck of cards. So I did want to stop in though and do a check-in with everybody and to give a reading. Yes, Beth, right? Not accepting the things I've accepted for. So deserve better than before. Yes, right? And yes, Monica, off feeling drained. Yes, so you'll feel very tired. As you can see, I look like so depleted. And even my neurological stuff went totally out of whack. Like on Sunday, I could hardly even stand up. And it's all as this, as these solar flares and stuff are happening, as the planets are shifting. And if you don't really pay attention to astrology, or if you don't pay attention to what the universal energy is doing, the resonant, was it the resonant um, energy charts and stuff, you don't realize how charged up we get from the activity that is happening in the universe around us. So when you're feeling off, it's not always all about you. Freaking remember that. It's not always all about you. It's not something that's happening in you. It's not something that's happening to you. It's just in the it's around you. It's the energy, your energy, that's energy, and you are a part of the universe, and the universe exists within you. And so there's that whole sense that it's not always you, right, Jaden? I am looking and feeling very tired as well, but makes sense now. Yes, exactly, right? It just makes sense. And same thing, like I just look like I've been just like I look exhausted and tired, and I'm like my whole body is just like blood drained. But I feel good. Like it's not that I don't feel like I'm like I feel really good. I've come a long friggin' way in life, and I'm like, but it's just knowing that sometimes, and Jaden do this, like, and Monica, like sometimes you just need to rest and to be like, don't be apologetic. Just sometimes I just need to be doing less. I don't need to be so active. I don't need to be go, go, go. Your body needs to be plugged in and recharged, right? So you need to plug in, tap into source, tap into you, journal, rest, take long baths, take showers. Showers really, really help. So if you're going through like that depleted spiritual energy, sometimes the worst thing you can do is take a bath. A shower is like a recharge. It works and it affects like different wavelengths within the brain. And I teach about the wavelengths. If you've ever taken my Healing the Healer course in the school, I teach a lot about all of those things in that course. So it is pre-recorded now, right? Yes, almost the universe telling you to chill out. Exactly. So chill out this weekend. Chill out. All right. I am going to go, and I know I've got a lot of male energy in here tonight, but I also have a lot of the energy out here is the divine feminine, and I can tell you so it's a softer energy but a roar of a lioness. So there's the roar of the lioness energy that's really coming through. um so how many showers a day? Well, Angie, I can tell you there's been times that I've literally had to take like 2 showers a day during my journey. But right now, what I'm picking up is that sense of, so I have this feminine, divine feminine energy coming in. And I woke up this morning with Lilith energy, and I work with the goddesses a lot. And so, but I also work with the everyday goddess energy. So that Lilith energy, which means, from the shadows type of work, what that darker side of ourselves, or that sense of what happens to us when other people create the stories about us. So when you read about Lilith, there's all these different stories and all these different versions, and who the hell knows what's really true? I know from my experience of dealing with light and dark energy is the fact that, it's that sense of when somebody tries to clip your freaking wings, and then they turn you. So when somebody creates a story about you, and that because you didn't do what they wanted you to do, or you didn't agree with them, and then they turn you into a monster. Well, that's kind of what happened to Lilith. So it's that whole energy of being kind of, when we lose ourselves in letting ourselves get angry and frustrated, or very concerned about what somebody else thinks. And what somebody else thinks of you is none of your business. And that's the kind of energy that the divine feminine is dropping into us, whether you're male, female, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. We all, or how you identify, we all have a masculine and a feminine energy. And when we all have that feminine and that masculine energy, is that sometimes we can be, depending on our, how we've had to be in survival mode, or playing victim mode, or thriving, or whatever it is. I have a tendency to be in my masculine energy. I'm an Aries. I'm a strong, fiery energy. I am so connected to that energy and to the sun. And so there's this powerful energy of the masculine that we need to sometimes have the strength that we need to have. And then sometimes there's a different kind of strength that comes when we need to step into the feminine energy, and it's a different kind of strength. And that's what we're being called up to right now, to that sense of just kind of saying, F it. You see, that's what your friend was saying to you too? Well, of course, because that's the energy, right? That's what's going around. And so it's that whole sense of, that's relatable to you, Ronita. Right. And so, it's what other people think of you is none of your business. The more that you keep talking about what somebody else is talking about you, then the more that you are actually providing energy and staying connected. So you're not releasing those people, you're not releasing the story, you're actually keeping it activated, you're keeping it alive. And the more you do that, the more that it brings more of that kind of energy, or that kind of energy, that those kind of people into your world and into your life. It's like you're always hitting the wall with that energy. And so, hello, Pauline and Buckins. And so the more that you constantly do that, you're not letting go. And so I don't change the story, change the view, and stop looking into it. Stop trying to analyze it or try to justify it. Or this is time to say, you know what, I'm going to stand in that sense of independence comes in many different ways. So what we're being told is to really truly get into that sense of being an independent thinker, so that you're also not being caught in the spiral of any negative conversation that it may be even transpiring that somebody else may be speaking about you. Who cares? Who gives a shit? When you know who you are, you do not have to justify or explain yourself. And that comes with combining, bringing together the masculine and the feminine, and truly starting to tie into yourself, like connect into you and who you are, and knowing who you are at the core. That's where more than existing comes in. It helps people through that. Uh, Good, see, Jaden. I don't know why I have to. I never know why I have to come in. Like I was on my way upstairs again. I'm always getting ready to leave, and something says come in. I am. I am recording again, which I have not done in a long time. I am in the middle also of trying to record my monthly forecast readings for each zodiac sign. I've got 3 done. Trying to get them done, but I'm not posting any of them till they're all done. uh, I have learned how to get rid of most of the best, right? We create the situation. We also have the power to change it. Yes, that's exactly right, Kayla. And so it's like when you're in that situation, it's like you can't change anyone else, but you can change you. But the more that you keep talking about the person who's talking about you, the more that you keep, that keeps you a cord. That's an energetic cord. And when you cut the cord and forgive people for what they don't know, forgiveness is not, and not saying you got to forgive everybody right away, don't worry, but it's not about forgetting. It's about saying the forgiveness comes like, I forgive myself for thinking that I need to carry that, or I need to keep being involved in that. So if you set them free, you set you free. It's not about them, it's about you. So you do it for you. And the card that comes up with that, because we're in that feminine, is the Sacred Sarah. And Sacred Sarah is truly, and she comes with my connection to my beautiful, my blue people, I call them, my Palladians, my circle of seven of that Palladian energy. And if someone would have asked me 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and said, what is your connection to that Palladians? And I would have said, that's fucking crazy. But it's not. The more that I've become connected to energy, and the more that I've been able to connect to that channeling beings that come to me, is that a few years ago, not about 2 years ago, I've had that sense of this silvery blue light, and seven amazing bluish silver lights came around my bed. And so when they came, I knew they were of purity. So they're pure unconditional love. So it's that sense of Sacred Sarah. When you treat yourself with sacred, like when you treat yourself as if you are a sacred treasure, is that you treat yourself in the way of being pure with your thoughts, pure with your actions, and being pure. And by that, I mean consciously aware of how you are treating yourself, how you're speaking about yourself, how you're even speaking about others, how what you're feeding into, and how you're feeding into you. Because that purest of light really truly comes to remind us, you know what? You only got this one lifetime as you. One. So when people, I get this all the time. They'll say, "Oh, my family member don't believe in you because they believe you die." And I'm like, "Doesn't matter who believes in me. I don't care, because that's not how I roll. That's not what I'm here to do." Um, but that whole sense of like your sense of self and who you really are, is that they'll say is, oh, my family believes that, you just die and you're gone and you're dead, and there is no afterlife, there's nothing, there's no spirit, like there's nothing, you're just gone. And I'm like, well, why are you arguing with them? Because they're not wrong about their story, but there's only seeing the one dimensional. They're seeing that 3D version of ourselves. You're seeing the person. So that human existence and who you are as this human, flesh and bones, you know, once that's gone, that's gone. That is gone. It's done. So you only have one lifetime as this person that you are today. The evolution of that soul journey is everlasting. It's that eternal light. So Sacred Sarah is that, yes, there is an eternity, an eternal light which exists, and it's of purest form, and you are made of that unconditional love and of the God consciousness and blah blah blah. But your human has one lifetime. Why waste it? And everyone who comes through from the other side will always tell me that. That's their message, is that, you're not here to waste that precious time. And when you look at them, and so there's something so sacred. So if you care for you as if you are a sacred treasure, that's actually starting to return to the sense of grace, right? And so Sacred Sarah is this beautiful energy, and she means a lot to me because she represents that, how had how fragile life is, and how you're not guaranteed your next moments. Nothing in life is guaranteed. So if you're wasting your time holding on to anger, holding on to resentment, holding on to being angry at people, It's like you don't know how long you have people here. And so, because we never know how long they are here, and we don't know how long we are here as a human, then we really should honor and treasure our bodies and who we are and those that really matter to us in such precious ways. And that's where, the rest comes in. Yes, that's all you are, is an earthly vessel. Hello, hello, everyone who's joining. Yes, I'm getting there and seeing things this way. Yes, exactly, Ronita, right? It takes time. Hello. Tracy, right, you just joined in at 22 minutes and 22 seconds. 2222. Ah, I love it. I love it. So someone whom? What's that, Jaden? What do you mean? So someone whom? Like you only got one lifetime as you, as this person that you are, the flesh and bones of you. Your spirit, the soul essence of you will go on to that other lifetime. Like it will, it evolves. It goes in back into the universe, blah, blah, blah. But you as this human got one time here. So anyone, that is honoring the people that matter, or not waiting to do the things that we want to do in life, or waiting to or trying to please everyone else, really choosing to be you, whoever you are and whatever you want to be. It's your body, it's your mind, it's yours to create. And so you are the creator of this life and this world. You're here to create it. You're here to be the hero of it. You're here to be the creator of it. You're here to be that savior. You're here to be the guru within for you. There's so much essence that's within you. And it's like you are not defined by the programming that we've been programmed with. When you make a choice to choose you, you make a choice to choose to live a whole lot happier. I believe for sure there's more. My mom has been switched to palliative care today. Oh, good, Krista. I'm glad this is. See, something just told me to come in and give just a message tonight. I have a hard time letting go. I am working on it. I was never taught this, but I need to start thinking about it. So, okay. So I'm going to give you another way to look at it. So letting go is not about open your hands and just like, just forget about it, because you're never going to, you will always remember like thoughts, right? Like you'll always have thoughts in your head. You'll always have these, you will always have memories, put it that way. You're not going to clear out your memories unless you get amnesia. You arrived with amnesia. Your soul arrived with amnesia. And as you start to awaken, you start to remember previous life stuff. We just do. Like it's not everybody does, but some of us do. So anyway, but what letting go means is not about freeing it here. Letting go is actually bringing it in here and questioning it. Why, why do I feel the need? What purpose is it serving to me to keep holding on? And sometimes because then it allows us to stay in our victim stories. So we've been holding on because then we have an excuse, we have a why, we have a story to tell. So it is sometimes serving a purpose to us. And so we keep claiming it and holding on to it because we can stay connected. And so letting go means bringing it in here and asking yourself the tough questions, taking that ownership and responsibility, and just saying to myself, like, really? Like, why? What am I doing? How's this serving me? And the more that you start to see it with fresh eyes, in a new perspective, what happens is that it starts to kind of lose its charge. It loses the emotional charge and the emotional connection that keeps every time you get triggered by words or statements or by seeing somebody. After a while, once you can release the emotional charge, then it no longer has the same impact. So, a story without a charge or passing somebody from the past that has no charge, it's like just walking past a stranger. They're just a person that you know you have a previous memory with or a previous experience with, but it doesn't have an emotional connection because you're no longer allowing yourself to be victim to that story or to hold on to that story. And that's what letting go means, Destiny. And I hope that helps you to be able to let go. Because if you're in a especially in families, when they hold on to grudges, like generations, we don't like them. And I just did a YouTube video about this. If you go into my YouTube, if you're on YouTube, you can watch the video that is about this. But please subscribe and like my YouTube channel. um, and I'm also going to be teaching. So December, what dates? The new Unity .com, the new Unity page. It's like Facebook type of thing, but it's a new system. I am an educator for them, or not for them, through them. So I am teaching the introduction live. I'm teaching it live. The last, or three, I think it's 3 Thursdays in December, and it starts December the 9th. So it's like the 9th, the 9th, the 16th, and the 22nd, I think it is. I'm going to be teaching the introduction to More Than Existing in there. So if you're signed up in there, or if you want to take that introductory course, you can take it in there. And then after the live, there will be a recording that'll also be available. You are very welcome, Destiny. Oh, good, Jaden. See, it helped for you too. And then in January, More Than Existing is starting again in January. So in January, then the whole More Than Existing program will be coming up for level 1, available again then. Like the Hatfields and McCoys. I don't know what that is, Wendy. Hello, 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 everybody. Okay, next card. Rebirth. So our next card is Rebirth, and that's where we are. So this is a time of our loved ones, the spirit world, the divine. And as I said earlier, so I was talking about Lilith, and I was talking about that, the story of, what happens to us when we allow that outside energy to kind of get the best of us. And we all have our yin and yang energy that's within us. Oh, okay. Yes, Wendy, I do know. Thank you. I get you. I get it now. And so we all have that yin and yang energy. So rebirth is often that time when we just say, I'm finally ready to let endings happen. And, when we fear endings, when we fear the death of something old, when we fear just letting anything go, um, then we also hold ourselves hostage, and we are then missing out on the opportunity for new beginnings, right? And so rebirth and purity, and we already spoke about purity. We just had a conversation about purity and that pure energy. And so purity and the zero is that return to wholeness. It's that beginning again. So this rebirth card represents a lot of different things. And if you look, you can see there's like a shadow. You can see there's like a ghostly spirit energy right behind her. But that doesn't mean that spirit is somebody from the past. Like, it doesn't mean it's a loved one. It could be the version of her. So this could be the woman of now, holding the woman of now, nurturing this, what she has just given birth to. And this could be a previous version of her. So in rebirth, we can be going through two experiences at once. And so there could be two experiences happening at once. So rebirth and that purity is giving yourself the opportunity to nurture what needs to be nurtured within. And to just know that as we're coming through this energy, as we're coming through this tumultuous, freaking tumultuous energy. And I can tell you, and I learned this through one of the astrologers, is that this new moon is not pretty. So this new moon energy that's coming up and all that's leading up to it is like the ending of everything of who we are. It's about becoming, it's about fighting for, within ourselves. And fighting doesn't mean going to war. It means finally taking a stand. And that's what Lilith was for me this morning. She's like, listen, woman, are you going to stand up for you, or are you just going to be a fucking doormat? That was pretty much her message. She said, get your ass back up and get back up where you belong and do what you do and do it well. And just be you. And that was kind of get into your feminine energy, get into the power of the feminine energy, not just the soft motherly nurturing that you do. You're not here to love and be loving and nurturing to everybody. You kick ass. And so basically what that energy was telling me this morning was get my ass up and start kicking ass again. So got to start with my own ass, right? Start kicking myself, kicking up the gears. And so this new moon is truly about that fight, that push, that. And I mean, yes, some astrologers pretty it up, right? Because it's like that whole sense of we need to make everything sound like rainbows and butterflies and all that stuff, but that's not real life. And if you keep trying to live in peace, you're never going to be at peace. Every time you keep saying, "Oh, I just live in my little bubble, I just live in my little world, and I just pretend it's not happening." Well, you can never have endings because nothing ends. You avoid and neglect and dealing with anything. You never know coping skills, and when you don't know how to cope, you're always running or being activated, reactivated, and triggered by a whole world every time something makes. It's like a little mouse, and every time something jumps. So what that means is that the instinctual self is like misfiring, the nerves are misfiring, and that you're thinking that everything is a threat to you. So you're hiding from the world, pretending that, I'm living in peace, but in the meantime, you're afraid of everything. So the whole world is actually then in that subconscious mind, it's a threat to you, it's unsafe, the world is bad, the world is not good. So if you walk yourself into your real world and you face the challenges and you face the things you need to face, then it's freaking amazing what will happen. Because then you're starting to allow yourself to go through the healing that you need to go through. And I always say, anybody can be strong and courageous and tell people what to do, but make no changes in their lives. So when you're looking at people's lives and you see people still living the same shit, still doing the same shit, not making no changes, got every excuse of why they can't stay committed, why they don't do the things they need to do. All of those things are why, I'm this far, but then I fall back and da da da. Well, same story, right? It's that fear of if I let my story end, then I have to be really freaking accountable, right? And to hold myself accountable. And if we don't accept the things we need to accept, then we can't reject the things that we need to reject because it's not ours. Transformation. Yes. Had to let a real mouse out of my house today. Poor little thing was so scared. Right? Yeah. So it's like you had to free it and it was scurrying around, right? And I just remember being when I was young, um, I had a friend who was programmed and conditioned that the whole, everybody in the world were kind of out to get them. So anywhere you go, they were like they were like a mouse, right? And the mouse can have some good things too, but they were like, oh, I don't know if I can talk. I don't know if I can. And so like when my daughter was young, if we went out for dinner, I would not talk for her. How many people spoke for their children? How many people, speak for their children all the time, instead of kind of not angrily forcing them, but just saying, you got to be prepared for the world. So our children are not our children. they're our children, but they're not ours to own. They're not ours to hold in like this. They are little angels that are brought to earth for us to prepare for them to become eventually to become adults, to let them out into the world. And so if we don't let the stages of their lives end, and for them to be able to start new lives and new cycles, how do they ever get the opportunity to be in that rebirth, that new beginning, to become the next stage of their lives? Now bring that in perspective for you. So if you keep being trying to be the person you once were, how do you become the person that you need to become for the next stage of your journey? That's our message. I've been awake too long. Nice to be here. Now I need to go. See you. Thank you for being here, Lisa. Yes, then you can finally move forward. Have a good sleep, Lisa. Okay, one last card here. Changing decks. We have the Eight of Earth here. Hi, Shiloh. So we have the Eight of Earth. We're down to our third card. And this is the Eight of Earth. And this is, skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, going back to school. So we're kind of being schooled by spirit tonight. The divine is really schooling us on really looking in at the essence of our human, and what it is, that we need to really truly break away from, so that we or kind of let go into that death process, so that we can let new beginnings unfold, so that we can come into that um into that stage of rebirth. And the more that we start to honor our journey, and the more that we treat ourselves with that unconditional love, and the more that we come into understanding love, is that and love is not love is not a noun. Love is not a noun. You can't hold love. You can't, right? You can't hold on to those. So I was just talking about, like, so love. Oh, I love my kids so much that, I do everything for them. Well, that's not love. I do everything for them because I love them. The action of doing everything for them so that they don't have to do nothing is actually a vice, an unhealthy habit of you fulfilling something within you. I do the things, and I get my kids to learn through here, so I get them to help me, and we do things together. Well, there's a more loving statement, and there's an action of change that is happening, and an action of preparing them in a loving way for the stages of life that they're going to have to be prepared for. Well, you have to do the same thing for you. It's about having to, learn new ways, learn habits. You study you. You should be your biggest subject. If you're looking out into the world and you're looking at everyone else and what everyone else is doing, and you're comparing yourself to everyone, you're competing with everybody, you're angry because somebody else got this and doing that, and it's like, oh well, they're making it and I'm not, so they're living on, that should have been me. No, that's their experience. That's not yours. That's not saying you're not getting your experience. That's just saying they're getting their experience. And so the more that you stop caring and looking over there, and you look into you, and you make you your subject, it is incredible how much you actually start to feel a compassion and a kindness for yourself, just as spirit is always looking in on us, checking in on us. And when people say, oh, I just want to know if they're okay, well, of course they're okay. Our whole mission here is to be able to create our heaven on earth. And we've yet to figure that out, right? And so that sense of saying we're trying to create peace. I'm trying so hard to live a peaceful life. Well, the first two words in that just absolutely told on you, and you're absolutely not living a peaceful life because you're trying too hard to live a peaceful life. And to live a peaceful life doesn't mean you try so hard to live a peaceful life. Right? The same thing is just thinking that letting it go is like casting out a fishing line and grabbing onto something new. No, it's about bringing it into here, and taking the charge from the emotions, from the emotional connection, and basically by taking the charge out, you feed the emotion something good, which means inspiration. Shiloh, I learned not to take away the lessons of people, my children and grandchildren, right? I used to do things for them because I could see the solutions of their situations, but they didn't learn the damn thing and repeat that cycle. Yes, exactly. So just because I can see beyond, just because I have the solutions, just because I know how, didn't mean that I would ever stop. And the way I said it was like, for me, I wouldn't speak for my daughter. She was shy, and we'd go to a restaurant, and I wouldn't order for her. Now I wouldn't embarrass her, but I would say, you can. What would you like? I would just say, "What would you like?" Instead of ordering for her or assuming what she want or saying, "Oh, she doesn't talk, she's shy." So every time I would say, "Oh, she doesn't talk, she's shy," then I was keeping that story alive instead of looking at my daughter and saying, as a person, "What would you like?" And I have a daughter who has no problem speaking her truth. And it's not that she's not quiet and she has a quiet voice, but she knows how to project her own voice and to speak for herself. And she can do it in all relationships. So when you teach them in the simplest ways, so we have to do the same thing for us. Any habit that you have that you hold yourself to, such as, "Oh, I'm shy," or "I don't know how to communicate." Well, when you start to come into you, and you make that decision to school yourself, you think, is it really that I don't know how to communicate, or is it that I'm fearful of being yelled at, mimicked, laughed at, being made fun of? So then we take the charge from that, and we set ourselves free of that story, and we start to push ourselves beyond that. And that's called actions of love, right? And so acts of love, because love is that verb, it is an action step that we take. It's nothing that we can physically hold, but it's something that we can use as a way to create the life that we want to live. And that's what spirit is telling us, and that's ultimately what Lilith was telling me this morning when Lilith came through, was kind of that same type of thing, is that if you let if you allow yourself to get caught in those stories, then you're going to find yourself searching and seeking back into the darker areas. And of course, if you add color into black, all color gets lost, right? So everything that you're trying to create and color up in your world, if we add it into black, it just gets lost. But if we have a black sheet and then there's a light behind it, you can see the light behind it. You can see the color, you can see the brightness behind it. But then right? And so there's so much that is just like saying, it's time to bring the things to the light that you need to to revisit, to let go, so that you can come into this rebirth, so that the beautiful color is on top of that dark, and you can color up your world. And dark is not bad, it just means it's kind of in the shadows. The best of you is hidden behind the shadows, the stories, the fears, the insecurities. And it's not the worst of you, it's the best of you. So you got to dig deep sometimes to find the best of you. Lisa, I was so shy before, more than existing. No more. I found me. Yeah, exactly. As I tell Lisa, you're not shy. You might have told yourself that story. You're not shy. And it's like, yeah, we sometimes love them to the death of themselves. Yes, and so how do they, if they cannot define themselves and you've defined them, then how do they ever define themselves? Right? And it's not saying we're not there to support them, don't get me wrong, but it's just knowing that to be there. But what I'm using the use of your children to bring that into you, because you have to remember you're one of the children. So the same thing we would do for the children, we are one of the children, because we are a child of the God consciousness, right? And we still have the essence of some of our stories of what we've seen through the eyes of a child, how we witnessed it, how we experienced it as a child, that we're still telling ourselves, even though we're adults now, but we viewed it and seen it as a child. And that meant we only seen it at the level that we were able to comprehend it as a child. So that level of comprehension as a child compared to an adult means something might have been a whole lot more fearful as a child than it is as an adult, such as somebody saying no to you, or I don't have time for you today. And if you were told as a child, I don't have time for you today, and then you took that and said, no one ever had time for me, and you're still telling that story as an adult, no one's still got no time for me. They had no time for me. Well, we need to go back and revisit that. And we need to look in at that. So so talking to spirit is truly about coming into here and just saying, if I step into just shutting myself up and stop telling my stories and just listen, I can look back at that experience from the adult I am today and say, you know what, maybe they just didn't have, maybe they were freaking busy. Maybe there was 10 more children and there was no time. But then we start to be able to take away the emotional charge again, and we can add something else good, because then we can find something good that's in there. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Yes, that's exactly it, Kevin. Everything you want is on the other side, that fear story, right? It just is. And the more we reach into it, the more that we reach. So I say reach in, reach out, and reach up. You can't do it alone. We need support. And every time we say, I know, I know, I know, that is the biggest vice, that unhealthy habit that we have. If you say, I know, I know, I know, and you're still repeat, 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 and still doing the same shit, then you don't know. And it's okay to not know. I live by the story. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I know it all. I'm not saying I even got it right in the moment, but I trust spirit. I trust when I do my work. I trust when the voice comes. I'm learning to trust my human more and more all the time, but I'm very aware that something is only true until you find out another story, or you have a different experience. And so your experience is not like somebody else's. You're not walking in somebody else's shoes, and you're not in somebody else's moment or somebody else's language. So even though you're hearing a word, even though you're hearing a conversation, it doesn't mean that the person having the conversation and you are perceiving it the same way, because the energetic connection or your version of the words or the language may be totally different. You may mean it in a different way. So instead of saying, oh, you got that wrong and you're wrong and you don't know what you're talking about, then maybe it's like, hey, I don't want to assume that's what you think. So is that really what you meant, or is that what you're saying, like, and repeat it, and then you may find out a whole different story. 100% feel that too, Lisa. Corey, in your message about my confidence. Ah, Jaden, that's so good. I'm so proud of you, so proud of you. So last card to end out our night. And as I said, if anyone's wondering why I'm not doing the individual readings for people, is because, and I've been saying this for a few months now, I'm like, everybody needs something right now. And so I'm doing collective cards more than I'm doing individual pulls for people, because there's so many people that the messages resonate with, that my heart, my guides, I'm listening to channel. I'm listening to the guides that says do the readings collective, and then if you want a personal one-on-one session, book a session. Book your one-on-one. I'm still doing some one-on-ones right now, and And as you know, I do end up taking months off. I take breaks, especially when I get busy in teaching. I stop when my busy season in teaching starts. I stop doing one-on-ones. So right now I am still doing one-on-ones. And then six of earth, and this is about that balance, right? And this is our gifts and our rewards. So sometimes what it's costing you to hold on to a story or to keep doing the same things and repeat is costing you more than you can afford to lose. And so our rewards back is the things that we see, the nuggets. And so the beautiful spirit, my back is on fire. So I know we're doing some healing work tonight. And so, the message from spirit truly is that, those rewards come and we receive, our inheritance, I call it, our rewards and that flow of abundance, not always in the form of monetary money, but in the way that we just start to create a life that is you know bringing us more into the plus and into the positive. It's about the investment into you for the return on your investment. If you want a return on your investment, you have to invest into you. And if you don't invest into you, you're never going to get that return on your investment. You're always chipping away or going into the negative or falling back or always running behind. And and that's how it plays out. And so when it's playing out in your life, in your energy and how much you're giving to yourself energetic wise, then you notice there's a lack of in all other areas of your life. So this is about recharging, about coming back. And spirit, it's really truly just telling me that sense of who and what we are, that that sense of that identity, that character that you just hold on to so hard, let it go. It is not all sometimes we don't even know that who we are is not even ourselves because we've been living it for so long. And so spirits just saying, we're wasting, don't waste your human experience. And don't spend so much time trying to be out there that you're missing time with the people here. Don't wish that time away. We are a being just like the other beings, just like the palladium blue light energy I talk about. We are just another sense of a being who is here, but we're the human being. And we ultimately, and I just wrote this in my book, one of my books is, we have to stop saying, oh, it's okay, you're just human. You're just human. We've kind of overextended our leeway of we're just human. When do we take ownership and responsibility for our own self? And when we do that, it's amazing what happens. Ah, thank you, Shadow. I'm glad you make it. That resonated a few minutes ago with you as well, Tracy? Good. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here with me. Like I said, I really wanted to come in for the Saturday, but that's not going to happen. I don't think so. Who knows? I have my granddaughter, and if you missed the very last of the live that I said the last time I was in a couple days ago, was I spoke about I got a new grandbaby on the way. So I'm going to be a grandmother again in the spring. I'm so excited. So I get another grandbaby. I do have a lot of courses that are coming up on the new moon, and this is not expensive. So this is on the new moon energy. So on the 3rd, I am doing a healing circle and an intuitive collective reading. Um, on Zoom. And you can sign up for that on my website. It's in the booking system there. You can just go in there and go down to the events and you'll find it there. The link is also on my page, but it is a full moon. It is a full moon. It's a new moon healing circle and intuitive guides. It's open to everybody. It's not just for women. It is open to anyone who would like to join in. I think it's like $20 in tax. And then also on the Sunday, when just after the times go back, so on November the 7th, I'm doing a past life healing I'm doing a past life healing session and a little bit of a teaching with it as well, and that's on the 7th. Grandbaby number 5. Wow. Congratulations to you. Yeah, I got a feeling I'm gonna get a few. I only got 1 child. I got 1 daughter, and this is second one, so I got a feeling there might be a couple more. 1 more at least. Um, and then I have the spiritual depression, which is about that melancholy, that feeling low, about the symptoms of, coming through our awakening, going through changes in life. And that's a 4-week coaching. And we're just finishing up the intuition one this coming Monday. And then there's a week break, and then I start the other one. So that's coming up. Oh, Lisa just shared the events. Lisa just shared the events links. And I don't know what else. And then in the school, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Lisa just launched the 40-day affirmation. It's a free course, and that's in the school's weight. That's actually really cool. It's a 40-day affirmation. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff in there as well. But I know I have a couple more things. I don't know what else I got. But there, that's what's right now. And in January, a whole bunch of more things. Thank you for your love, for your support, and for being here with us. With us. In other words, we have spirit here with us tonight. And if I can make it in tomorrow, I'll try after Sadie goes to bed. If not, I'll get in again next week. And then my next time, I promise I will do I'll do a few card pulls. Much love. Have a beautiful night. Have a great Halloween, and just spend some time with you. Mwah. Bye-bye.